Hey guys, it's Katie at scrappingkatie.ctmh.com, and to celebrate National Coffee Day 2019, I have a few projects featuring coffee. So to celebrate National Coffee Day, I have pulled several photos that I took last year on Snapchat with my Starbucks cup, and I have already pre-cut an overlay from our new digital Cricut collection. It's exclusive with Close to My Heart and Cricut, and it's called Complete Creativity. I've already pre-cut that as well as the flower pieces. And then this particular layout, well, all of them really, they have pre-designed photo wells, but as you can see, my photos aren't going to go in any of those. So I'm just going to take my Microtip scissors and snip those off. And as far as the cup and the flowers go, I'm just kind of doing the natural progression of where the flower would go. It doesn't have to be perfect. My photos are either going to cover that up or it really looks like that's how it was intended. So I'm just going to snip those and then see how it looks on my layout base. Okay, so now I've looked at it and I think I'm going to also cut off Autumn Days, which is the title for this pre-designed layout. So I'm going to snip off where that meets that. And then I'm going to start adhering the back sides of those elements. So I've got several paper packets from Close to My Heart that I'm using. And I think you'll be surprised. One of my favorite things to do is mix our paper packets. And so on this particular leaf, I am using one from Hawthorn, and I'm using the yellow side or the saffron. This leaf is actually a B&T from the new Spooktacular special that's only available through the end of October 2019. And then that heart is the, it's kind of a corrugated cardboard type pattern, and it's from Hawthorn. This leaf is actually from the Into the Wild paper packet that just retired. And then this yellow leaf, that backside is that orange, that nectarine from the Spooktacular as well. These three individual leaves is that same B&T from Into the Wild. And the other side that's going to show through is a plaid, a green plaid in kind of soft grays. These leaves actually is the candy apple, or green apple rather, from the Spooktacular. And so that purple that you're seeing, that thistle, that's actually spider webs, but you won't be able to tell from the other side. And then this sunflower, I'm just using craft cardstock for the center. And then that same saffron color B&T on the other side that's going to show through. Apologize for my hair here, but I am just putting on that cardstock for that coffee cup. And now I'm going to take a look at my photos and see which ones work. So I've pulled out a couple of photo wells that I like to buy and then put on the layouts that I teach workshops for, so then my attendees can go home and know what size photo to put there. But I also like to pull them out when I'm designing layouts, and that way I can tell what size will go, and then I can cut down my photos. So I've got 4x4 photo wells right there. These photos actually, I'm cutting down to 3 1/4 by 3 1/4, and then I'm going to mat them. So in the end, it's probably going to be 3 1/2 by 3 1/2. And then I've got that one Starbucks cup, a kind of a close-up of it. I hope you can see in the still photo where Snapchat put a filter on her face. All these photos it did, but this particular one I got really close to that cup. And so I was able to get a filter on her face. So right here, I'm just matting those 3 1/4 photos on some just scratch white daisy cardstock that I pulled out. And then I'm going to trim that down with my Fiskars trimmer. And they're not even, they ended up being slightly different sizes, but you really can't tell. So I'm going to trim those down. And then add a photo well to that, or a photo mat. And I could have used the pre-designed ones, but I like to save those. And I have tons of white daisy cardstock. So I've got that there, and then I'm just trying to decide where I'm going to put it, because I also have to put my title, and I know some of it's going to go up top and some of it's going to go at the bottom. I briefly played around with matting them on that black cardstock that I cut off. And then right here, I'm cutting that leaf, that one leaf apart. That way it can go over that photo. So I have pulled out our white foam alphabet, and then one of our new markers. And I'm just coloring. My title is going to be Starbucks and Snapchat. And so I am just coloring all those letters with the darker side of that marker. And these are Spectrum Noir, I think is how you pronounce it. And I am not really paying attention very perfectly to this. In the end, and you can see it by the still shot, in the end it really looks kind of like wood grain. I was hoping more for coffee stain, but I just really kind of wanted to get it done. I kind of, at this point, I was loving the layout and I just wanted to hurry. And so I just thought, whether it's wood grain or coffee stain, it's all going to look good. So here I've just pulled out my T-ruler. You'll see I kind of messed up. I usually start from the edge, which would be the right edge, and work myself back. And then I only adhere part of the letter on my T-ruler, and then that way the other part, which is the sticky part, I can actually kind of press down onto my layout and pull my ruler out from under the bottom, if that makes sense. But what you're going to see here is I have to scoot it over, and then so the T of my ruler can't go anywhere. So I guess here I forgot to adhere down the overlay. So I'm applying just regular adhesive with my ATG gun and pressing that down really well. And then I'm going to adhere this. And I knew that I wanted some of the letters to go over those leaves. So here's where it gets tricky, because see, that T can't fold past my cardstock. So I'm going to have to do some manual stuff here. Again, I apologize for my head. But at least I know how close the letters have to be and where it has to start by putting it on my T-ruler first. So, Starbucks. And then I toy with what I'm going to do for the Snapchat. So, until I figure that out, I'm going to adhere down my photos. And one's going to slightly go over the top of the other, and then that one on the right is going to go under that coffee cup. And then I'm going to add my little circle and heart. And again, all the elements of this layout are cut basically from one image. If you buy the Complete Creativity, if you buy the Complete Creativity Cricut cartridge, and it's digital, so as soon as you purchase it, it's in your Design Space or your Cricut account. And you just pick which image you want, layouts, cards, they're all there. And it adds it to the mat, and you can just press go. On the layouts, you can resize them. You want to do, so you don't have to use a larger mat. I resized mine to 11.5 by 11.5. But it basically just, you press go. The thinking is done for you, and it's super easy. Even down to that little heart and that striped green apple piece on that coffee cup. So right here, Snapchat, you can see what it's meant to do. My T-ruler is off the edge, and so I was able to just snap it out. There was one letter that didn't stick, and then that S and that N kind of were crooked. And so I'm going to play with this a little bit just to kind of get it straight. And then I'm going to add my journaling lines just with my journaling pen. And again, T-ruler is the best method for me, but you can use whatever you want. I know some people just hand draw it. And I don't mind my journaling lines showing on certain layouts, and definitely not this one. So I'm still thinking, what does it need? What does it need? So I am going to pull out Oh yeah, you're going to see me eat Pringles. I apologize, but I'm thinking. And so I'm going to pull out the stamp of the month for October, and I'm going to add a few elements to this layout. And so on the heart, this actually is, the heart is going to be inked up in sangria, and the heart comes from the Every Little Thing scrapbooking stamp set. And it was a perfect fit for that Cricut heart that got cut out. So this is the October stamp of the month, and I really like that checked border. And so I'm going to ink it up in sangria as well to kind of pull from the heart. And I'm going to create a bottom and top border. And so originally I was just going to do partial borders, and then when I got over to the bottom, I decided to go all the way across with it. And so I love that our clear stamps are easy to line up. And so I need to kind of go all the way across with the top. So now I am trying to figure out some more little elements to use from this Perk Up Stamp Set. And it's got this little trio of hearts. So I've inked that up in sangria down at the bottom right and in the middle. I end up not liking the middle one at all. And so I'm trying to figure out what I can do to hide those. So I have pulled out the B&T from Hawthorn, and it's got a zip strip with several sentiments on it. So there are two that are perfect for this layout. And so I am going to glue those down. And of course, one says All Smiles. And that's going to go directly down onto the layout right above my photo. And then the other one I've pop dotted, and it says Great Stuff. So, I mean, what can you say more about coffee is great stuff and all smiles. So I've just pulled out my T-ruler to make sure that that's straight. And there you have it. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I will put a link to the Cricut cartridge as well as everything else in the details below.